Alright, today's video we're going to talk about the Edge of Fate reveal in the sense it's a day and a half away, give or take a few hours. We're going to talk about what we want to, see, what we would like to see, and what we will definitely not see. As in, as a whole. So, or what we wouldn't want to see, I should say. So things I would love to see, which is things we already confirm on, we know exist. I'd like to see more info on is the new weapon system and how it's going to work. I assume they're going to show us more than likely because they'll just be really dumb. I assume they'll also show us how the weapons focusing system or the armor focusing system works. I'd love to see both of those. I would love to see the new ability and its more advancedness. We know there's going to be a new ability. It'd be the dumbest decision Bungie could make not to add a new ability at this point because it is a brand new DLC slash new saga. So we're definitely getting one new ability set no matter what. And if we don't, it's definitely going to cause some issues. So as a whole, I would like to see more info on the weapons, so I understand what they are better. I'd like to see the armor system and how it works, so we can understand a better focusing system and maybe get it more reliable, since they are removing it from 6 stats to 3 stats, which is gonna be really rough. Even though you might be able to get them higher, they're very iffy. Hopefully they'll elaborate more on the double system. So what I mean by that is it goes up to 200 now for the stats for grenade and intellect and strength. I don't know about the other ones, but for these it does. And you have a chance of getting a second one. I'm hoping they'll elaborate on that instead of saying a chance, it's guaranteed a second, or they'll just say, hey, we scrapped that and we're going to do something else. Because honestly, a chance to double is really bad RNG. It would really suck if you're in Crucible and you lose to a second grenade because you don't know if that guy got a second grenade or not. So, and yes, a situation like that would happen without a doubt. So it's very, very, very confusing on what they plan to do with that. So I do want them to see more and talk about more what that is or what they decided to do with that. If they changed it a little bit or actually just made it more consistent or better to figure it out. Because RNG in this game is not a great system sometimes, and sometimes it is. Um, so those are things I want that we know are more than likely they're going to show off. Obviously, we also want to see the story and stuff, but obviously that's a given no matter what. So things we would like to see, but probably won't see, is more than one subclass because it is a new saga start. Even though it's a new season, new DLC, it is a new saga. The Light and Darkness saga has ended. It is the new saga start, which I don't know what they're gonna call it, but some leaks that Bungie leaked themselves, they call it the Year of Prophecy for the thing. So I figure the new saga is probably be something about prophesizing stuff like that. In the general idea of like that, it'll be like the Saga of Prophecies or something. I don't know, Bungie for you, so who knows? But I would like to see more than one subclass. I don't think we need 3 new subclasses because that is really heavy information to like program or figure out how to balance and stuff. But we should definitely be getting more than one. The only way I can accept we get one is if we get a free darkness one for the Light and Darkness saga, since we never got our third darkness subclass, which was promised by Bungie. A lot of people have forgotten, a lot of people didn't realize it, but at one point, Bungie did promise us a third darkness subclass for the Light and Darkness saga. It was before they even announced that Final Shape and Lightfall existed, because originally I believe it was just called Final Shape, or it was unknown at that point, but then they added Lightfall and then Final Shape. Before they were supposed to be one and together, and then they separated them into 2 separate DLCs, which is why Lightfall was so iffy, because it was just a shit show. The way they cut it and then tried to edit it and make it look good, it was a shit show. And that's the reason why. We were supposed to get 3 elements, and we never did. So, unfortunately, that never came to pass. But I do believe we deserve it. And if the new saga, yes, we're probably going to get a new Desire of Darkness subclass of some sort. I know that. But it wouldn't be part of the Latent Darkness saga, which means it wouldn't actually be Latent Darkness subclasses like these are. Like the current Arc, Strand, or sorry, the current Darkness ones, which is Behemoth and Berserker for Titan, which is Strand and Stasis. And then the 3 light ones, right, which is Arc, Solar, and Void for Titan as well, with all elements. All characters have the same elements. But yeah, so we really need a third darkness one. Prismatic doesn't count. It is not a darkness or light. It is an in-between slash mixture. So it's its own thing. It is cool we got it. It definitely has its uses, even though they haven't upgraded or messed with it really much. But as a whole, we need that third darkness subclass to just even it out. So I hope they give it free to everyone. I doubt they will, but it would be nice if they did that. And then they gave us one subclass to the DLC. I could then accept it, maybe. It would still be disappointing because it is a new saga, which means, in my opinion, we should be getting 2 or 3 subclasses that are part of the DLC. but again, highly doubt it. Like I said, it's part of the video is things I'd like to see, but I doubt we're gonna see. Um, Other things I would like to see is weapons that are actually good in the sense of not good to per se, but like design wise, in the sense where currently we have what is it? So we got exotic linear fusion rifles, right? But we don't have legendary linear fusion rifles that are special. Heavy, yes, but not special. Whereas we have only exotic ones. I'd love to see more of these type weapons where they make like they like to make different weapon types, right? Like they got exotic auto rifle. It's cool, but there should be legendary variants of these special exotic auto rifles and stuff like that. There should be a legendary variation, just not as good. It'd have its own uniqueness, obviously, and stuff like that. But I'd love to see, again, highly doubt this would happen, but I'd love to see basically every weapon type get a legendary version that doesn't have a legendary version, and then those that do have a legendary version, I would like to see have an exotic version of in different types. So if linear, legendary, special linears would be awesome, so that way I can run triple linear, just be awesomely fun. I just want to do it for the memes. But then an exotic hand cannon that's a heavy, right? Wouldn't that be crazy? Just massive damage or something. 3 shots in the mag or something, so it's a little balanced, but just massive damage or some sort of crazy effect. Stuff like that. Um, I would also love, just as an example, there's obviously more weapons, but I was just using them as an example. I would love to see more poison-based weapons. Um, we only have a few of them in the game as a whole, and I would love to see more of them. I think it is very unique how poison weapons work. Like Austriga, Necrochasm is technically one, and then we have Thorn. I don't think we have any others. I think those are the only ones at the moment. Yeah, I think those are the only ones at the moment. I would love to see more of these. I'd love to see other variants of these. I'd like to see special ones or heavy ones of these, as well as some more primary, because they are very unique. And yes, they said they wanted to make them somewhat rare, and I agree with that concept, but you haven't added one since Necrochasm? Kind of a problem. And Necrochasm technically already existed, so to get that cool unique ability, it's still, it needs a little bit of a oomph, you know what I mean? But yeah, so it'd be cool really to see more of those weapon types. They're very unique, and they should exist more. The other thing is, I think we should get resonance as weapons. I'm hoping they'll show off something like that. I doubt it, but it'd be really cool. So resonance is, everyone wants it to be the next subclass, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Trust me, I understand completely. It would be cool to have the witness's abilities. But in fact, I thought of this the other day. It would actually be cooler to have limited weapons that do resonance effects. So something like this would be really cool, like the new linear that came out, Finality's Augur. Instead of solar, it was resonance. And it'd have like a unique effect on enemies. So they could change this in the future, obviously, but it would make sense because of what it is. Same thing with the weapon that it comes from Root of Nightmares. Um, Finality should be a resonance thing. It should have resonance on it, something different, which is conditional right here. There's also Vow, which Vow's weapon should be instead of Void, which it is currently. Collective Obligation, this should be resonance as well. I think it'd be really cool because these weapons are not kinetic because they're technically other elements that just aren't actually registered as elements. So they could, in theory, put them in the special slot, or well, the energy slot, or make them a special weapon, or make them a heavy, and it would work because they're not technically kinetic, but they are kinetic. They could actually add the element, so poison weapons would just get the poison symbol, like a poison symbol, and then the resonance weapons would get the resonance symbol. They'd put a symbol for both of them. That way they're not kinetic because they're technically not anyways. But even though they are registering as Connect, they should register as their own element, and they can make them rare. Something they add once in a while, here and there, cool effects and stuff, something unique. I doubt we'll see that. Weapon types I would love to see is a crossbow and a scythe. So I would love an exotic scythe. Destiny Rising made it a warlock ability, which was cool, but technically speaking, the scythe shouldn't be a warlock. It should be a hunter ability by all logic, because Titans are all about close range and stuff, and a scythe is about putting distance between you and the enemy. Not a lot of distance, but some distance. So a Titan getting close quarters wouldn't work well, and a Warlock wouldn't work well either, because they're about space magic and crazy stuff, whereas a scythe is supposed to be about meleeing. Hunters are all about knives and blades, so it kind of would make sense for the hunter to get the scythe. If it's going to be an ability, I would prefer it to be an exotic weapon, a heavy or a special. Heck, even a primary would be really unique and cool. The first primary melee weapon would be actually probably the coolest thing. It'd be a weird thing, because it means you'd never run out of swipes in a sense. But it would still be unique and it'd be fun, I think. So, something they could do there, you never know. Be a little weird, but it could be cool. Crossbows, obviously everyone wants crossbows. Hammers is what a lot of people want too. some sort of hammer. But these are relics, so we probably won't see a hammer or a scythe ever because they have it into a relic, which sucks. Again, things we will not see. Um, Scythe is like 50-50. I mean crossbow. Sorry, crossbow may or may not happen because Bungie, for some reason, thinks the crossbow in the game is already a crossbow. And I'm sorry to tell you, but Buried Bloodline is not a crossbow by any definition. It is literally what it says, a rocket-assisted sidearm. It is exactly the type it is, and it honestly matches it perfectly. Because of what it does and how it charges and stuff. It might have these bolts and these wires and stuff, but they do nothing. They do nothing for the actual firing mechanism, in the sense of what this is supposed to be. So, it's cool. It's kind of a crossbow, but it's not really. It is definitely more of, this is literally a rocket or something. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It is more like a Telesto spike or something. Or not Telesto, Halo's Needler spike. But it's cool. It's not a bad exotic by any means, but it is not a crossbow in my eyes. Um, it could be. I mean, if they changed sidearm to crossbow just to be, troll people, and changed how it works a little bit, and made it a little better in a sense, then I could accept this. I could accept this as potentially being an actual crossbow. There's a bit they'd have to redesign and change, but otherwise I could maybe accept it. But that's a different story entirely, so yeah, we'll get to that another day. Things we definitely aren't going to see is we're not going to see any super cool exotic weapons and stuff. Like, we'll probably see some exotic weapons, don't get me wrong, but there'll be a lot of secret stuff they're not going to show us. It is a new saga, and even if it's not, it was just a new DLC. Bungie does hide a lot, so a lot of people I've seen online talking about they're going to show off all the new weapons, all the new armor, all the new crazy stuff. They might show us an armor or two, or some of the weapons, but there's a lot of normal weapons they won't show us, and a lot of exotics they won't. There's a lot of changes they're not going to show us right away. They're going to talk about it for the next couple months before this releases. Just because that's Bungie, that's how they do it. We're not going to see anything super crazy, I don't think, unfortunately. The time thing might be cool, but it is the 9, so I don't know. It's kind of 50-50 on that front, if they're actually going to show some or not. I'm not sure. Things I know they won't show, but I really wish they would, is definitely the red subclass. Everyone wants the red subclass. It's been a meme forever, but according to Bungie, they never planned to do it, which sucks. That is true. That is depressing because a red subclass, one, would be cool because I love the color red, and two, it would just be an amazing addition to the color scheme. As a whole, I'm worried that about a couple things. Obviously, Bungie might have not done this right, and they decided to play it as a normal DLC with a little extra spice, which is cool, but it's not good for the system. Everyone knows it is a new saga. It is advertised that way, so it has to be a new saga. Bungie always has a chance to blow us out of the water, so there's always a chance they could do something crazy. But unfortunately, I do not believe they are going to do too good of a job. I think we'll see some cool things, there'll be some unique things, but I'm afraid they're definitely not going to blow us away. And that, sadly, is depressing. But that's Bungie for you. So, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment what you think. If you think any of my ideas are cool, or anything I say you want it to happen as well, let me know. Thanks for watching, though. We out. Adios. Y'all have a good day. We gone.